Welcome back to Really Mary. You got to hear what Darrin Palumbo, City Councilman of Marco Island, has to say about what's happening in Marco Island.
Well, Mary, thanks for having me. Excited to be back. And as I always say, we live in paradise, so let's talk about paradise.
We all want to know, inquiring minds want to know what's next.
I can't wait.
What's next?
Gosh, what's next? I always say if you some people watch the city council meetings, it's not the most exciting thing in the world, but it's informative.
Right.
And once in a while we crack a little joke here and there.
Yeah.
It's okay to have a little fun. Public has to realize these are our working meetings.
Right.
But one thing we've been talking about a lot, and one thing our citizens have asked us to address, is parking, transit. There's no great solutions. There's no easy solution.
Yeah.
I always tell people what you have to realize is when I came 25 years ago, I burdened somebody with my presence. And having children on this island, when you come here and say, hey, nobody else is allowed to come or close the bridge down, you've just burdened us with your presence.
Sure.
You've helped the challenge of parking and transit. But we're reaching build out. And we've got there probably quicker than we thought, a lot slower than the Mackel brothers, if you're familiar with the story.
Sure, right, yeah.
Then they wanted to get there.
Sure.
But COVID probably put us on a little bit of a steroid boost.
Right.
And now we're nearing build out. So moving traffic, finding parking solutions is going to be extremely important.
Mm-hmm.
We just opened up a program that allows churches and condos to rent out parking lots if they'd like.
Which I love.
A little concern, a little pushback again from some of our citizens, but my belief is we try it. If it got out of hand, if 10,000 more people were showing up on day trips to the beach, we could certainly start to look at that. I suspect be lucky to get a church or two and a condo or two to maybe be interested. San Marco residency, right across from the Madeira beach access.
Right.
They're very interested, or at least they're, where the board president has come to a few meetings. They're a perfect test market. They're mixed use commercial. They have parking spaces at night, and people are using them anyway to go see the sunset. So maybe there's a happy medium.
Yeah.
We talked about paid parking for a while behind all the little alleyways that were created, Muspaway and everything. So we'll see where that goes. We have to be open to solutions and open to conversation.
Well, it is a little bit tough in Old Marco because, we have some really great venues back there with music and no parking.
Old Marco, I actually brought this up in a meeting, and I didn't vote to do it yet. We had 4 councilors that did, but we're looking at actually limiting some of the parking in the swales, protecting some of the public.
Okay.
Maybe allowing them to have some permitting or something so they can use their swales.
Mm-hmm.
But we have to come up with a solution for that too. Actually, maybe the Presbyterian Church or somebody wants to use their parking lot.
Right.
The marina, just shuttle people in, golf cart them in, low-speed vehicles, that type of thing.
Yeah.
It's never going to be a perfect system, but Marco, we're a victim of our own success.
Yeah.
We're an incredible place. People want to be here just like you and I.
Right.
And we can't blame somebody else for wanting to come and experience Marco.
It's interesting, the bikes that have the electric motors, I'm seeing many more of those in season. It's really kind of cool.
Mayor, we get, when I say pushback, it's usually a small group of people that are very passionate about the Marco of old. We don't hear mostly from the silent majority, most of those folks that say, you're doing okay, you're making good decisions. Electric bikes are a great solution for our parking problems. They're a great solution to the hospitality industry's workforce.
Yeah.
Right? When you have somebody, maybe a half of a staff riding an electric bike to their job, leaving the parking spaces available, for the customers, for the patrons, 10 bikes in one car, 10, maybe 15 bikes in one car parking space.
Right.
Or multiple bike racks. So again, these are things that we're looking to address. We're open to solutions. So if the public has any ideas, email us, let us know. Their opinions matter.
Yeah.
The next big issue after that, and this one's
huge.
Possibly even more important, is workforce style housing. If you look at the geography of our island, we're kind of at the end of the line, right? There's nowhere to build over the Goodland Bridge. It's all environmentally sensitive. And there's almost nothing left to build over the Jolly Bridge. Even what is out of reach for the workers. When I say workers, I don't just mean the popular ones like police, fire, first responders. You have to look at Department of Public Works in this city. It's an amazingly important job.
Right.
It's just as important as anything else. You have to also look at our hospitality industry. Hotels, restaurants, Ubers, taxis, clerical, staff. It's gotten to the point where the businesses, it's just not possible to pay somebody enough to live here.
Right.
even if we wanted to.
Because of the cost of housing and food and et cetera, et cetera.
It was brought up, and I used, somebody was saying, businesses should pay more. I said, well, the city's a business. Would you like us to raise everybody's property taxes so we could pay police and fire and department enough to live here?
Right.
It's a double-edged sword, so you have to look at it both ways. I would love to let the private sector help settle this, but with that, we're going to have to talk about things, words that some of our citizens they don't like to hear. Bonus density, maybe increasing in that. Guys, nothing's settled yet, so don't hear these words and everybody starts emailing, but it's really the Tallwood area, Hartley, Eden Court, some of 6th, Marco Lake Drive. Some of those areas and some of the folks that own land there are in a position to help satisfy our needs. We might need to decide if we're going to change up a few rules, maybe lighten up on a few, or offer them some incentive to help satisfy the workforce housing issues. And the other thing is, shouldn't people be allowed to live where they work, or at least shouldn't there be an attempt for some of them to be able to live where they work, for their kids to grow and prosper in this community? All those, I don't want to use the word menial, but the lower economic jobs on the island.
Right.
Their children are the future doctors and lawyers, and they're the ones that are going to work hard, that came from a little less, who understand the value of success. We need to encourage that. We need to help that. We need to do everything we can to foster that, at least in my opinion.
Well, I couldn't agree with you more. I think you've heard it here first, some of the things that we've just done, some of the things that we're looking at in the future. And until next time, I'm Mary Bartos with the Bartos Group of Premier Plus, and my friend Darrin Palumbo.
Pleasure to have you. Don't forget, it is an honor and a privilege to serve Marco and to live on Marco.
True dat.
Thanks, Mary.